Alright, welcome back to Let's Play Riven. Uh, the Island 1 list is now has what the 5 rooms are. So we have the steam room, the steam pipe, which is that one pipe that sent steam down to the thing next to the giant sword that we still don't know what it's for, the giant dagger, which is the main entrance in and out, the locked gate that we took the hinge off of, and the spinning globe that takes us into the fissure. That takes us into the starscape. Okay? And we've named Island 1 the Golden Dome. So now we are going to step onto this. Down. The door is closing. That's what the sound is. We gotta turn ourselves around. And launch. Okay, now we are going to arrive on the jungle island, apparently. Oh, you can run. That's nice to know. This is... new. Looks like something goes in there. Interesting. And gonna release water into this and fill it back up. Can you do anything with it? No. Okay. It's a very large weapon. So if you remember the what the heck? There's a little glitch in the system. Atris is trying to fix. all over the place. I don't remember what I was saying. Sorry, something about remembering something or other. Oh, yes, remember when we were looking in the Beetles? And one of them was a land with all the trees cut down. I guess we're gonna move right on to Island 3, or 4, or whatever. This is really cool. I just really wanted to see this in the update. We're going underwater. Somehow the water isn't hitting us. I think this is the island where we broke the bridge. Chips. And looks like the bottom of the cart might open and dump wood into the chipper. This would be where we change where steam is headed. Fire down there. A drain. Probably to keep this water from rising so high it puts out the fire. Looks like it's sucking water in here. Star. A mini steam junction. One goes here, the other goes to here. But it doesn't look like we're getting power to either of them. It does look like we're getting power to is whatever this is. Although, I'm curious as to what's over here. burned linking book. It's releasing something into the water. Oh, that pipe goes up there. So maybe it's sucking something out of the water. Huh. See, I'm walking. I'm running. Oh, I can hear it. I can hear the water, the steam coming in here. But I can't get in. Well, that stinks. Guess there's no point in having steam going over here if we can't do anything with it. So, let's move the steam. Cut down the trees, and then send the wood down here to be mulched. One thing I will say is that in the original game, you don't ride on the outside of the cart, you ride on the inside of the cart. And it would be theoretically possible to grab this handle while you were still inside the cart and dump you out. So the designers made it automatically dump you out of the cart as soon as you landed here. I like this option better where you just ride on the back of it. It makes more sense. Although it also makes sense that Gen's the type of person who would grind people up if they displease him. So that also makes sense. Alright, we're going to send steam to the middle. We've still got a red light. So now... What's wrong with this picture? Why is it still red? Is the platform down? Let me in! have to get in through this? I remember it being so hard to get in and out of this thing. Okay, well, I don't have to be here. I can go to a different island. I just thought maybe it might want some company. But no. It's being hard to get. Oh. That makes sense. I have to send the heat out. Yeah, okay. So as the water pours in and out. Drains it. Now, let's see here. Hopefully beachfront property. This seems like a well-worn path. Giant dome. There's our spinning circle. And it heads towards the dome. So we're gonna have to figure that out at some point. Let's open that. So that's ladder we couldn't get up. I only know about that because I've played this game before. This is cruel. Okay. So in the original game, one of the symbols was golden, and that was the one you needed to stop it on. you had to click it in such a way that it's like slowed down, and you had to click it early so that it landed on a certain symbol. In this version, we've got to memorize what which symbol goes to which one. So we're gonna, on the map, on the thing, we're gonna mark down stuff. I'll show you what I mean. Alright, what is this pipe I'm following? Out here. Okay. We walk this way a bunch, but it should be visible. Over here somewhere. Yeah, you should be able to see it from around here. It's on this wall, right? Huh. Well, maybe it's on the other side. I can find it in a different way. Let's just assume it's full of water. This is all new, by the way. Is this a steam pipe? Which one is it? No, it goes outside. Okay, so this is the one that we didn't think we needed anything attached to. We don't want Gen to know that we're here. So let's put things back the way we find them. Let's turn that on. That. Switch that. And the reason we can turn everything back is Because now we can go up and down that ladder and we don't need to go through the piping. We don't have to go underground and go up the back way. Alright, so this should be sending steam up the pipe. Yep, we can hear it. Still don't know where that's coming. Let's see what it does. It goes into the machine, right? Yeah. We get steam and I think it's water. I bet you it's pumping water in now. It's rather ingenious. It's like a little crib. Weird. Alright, this is kind of important. So we're going to make a drawing of this. We're going to put it over here on island 3, which we're going to call boiler. These islands actually have numbers, and I don't remember, like, which one is which right now. This is going to be the tree island. Alright, so boiler island, we have Okay. Alright, this is really bad art. So what we're gonna do is we now have this. And this is based on those notes right there. The counterintuitive, the greater strikes yield the maximum optimal strikes before base value. What? Oh, there we go. Strike force compensations. Fire marble is over to power marble. The counterintuitive aspect of fire marbles, that a greater strike force does not always yield the maximum energy output, never ceases to amaze me. Optimal strike force base value. There is a scribble here. Alright, still got this. Interesting. Something's dripping on it. That's spinning something. Ah, the Journal of 5. Okay. I will tell you right now, these are Diddy numbers. We will learn how to read them at some point, but at the moment, I can't read it for you. I don't have it memorized. I have been cataloging the natural elements of this age for many years now, yet I still continue to find evidence of the number 5. As a boy, it was very clear to me that it held a place of special significance in the Dunny society. From the ancient heraldic emblems of the ruling elite to the humble homes of the commoners, it was ubiquitous. Its presence here is clearly direct reflection of the minds that authored the texts I used to compose this age. Further proof that through their art the Dini masters were indeed creating the marvelous worlds they wrote, and not, as many have mistakenly thought, merely forging links to pre-existing worlds. All of my ages have been based on Dini designs. I see now that the ones most vested with the power of 5 are also the most beautiful, the most perfect, and undeniably the most structurally sound. We still have yet to determine how the Dini color symbology reflects this superior design principle. While ostensibly a 6-color system, I'm convinced that there must be some deeper connection to the number 5. I will continue to investigate. The Yitrim tribes have been particularly fruitful this year. Apparently, the breakup of the islands has not adversely affected the subterranean ecosystems. Unfortunately, I imagine the rebels are also experiencing a generous harvest. No shortage of poison for their darts this season. Such vexing issues aside, this unexpected windfall has allowed me to refine a particularly pleasant extract for my pipe. one that is smoother than any other in recent memory. I have reluctantly decided to suspend my inquiries into the unusual behaviors of the water of this age, as there are more pressing matters that now demand my attention. For future reference, however, my investigations have revealed the following. I believe the remarkable properties of this water to be caused by a microbe that resides within it. I am imagining a motile unicellular organism, but one with a structure that allows it to manipulate bits of water. The aggregate effect of which is that the composite body of water is able to deform itself in response to threatening conditions. Prolonged exposure to extreme heat, a period of extended boiling, for example, seems to kill them off, which would explain their dramatic aversion to even moderate rises in temperature. There's still much to learn, however, regarding this particular phenomenon and its possible uses. Construction of the imagers has proceeded without fault. Remarkable how easy it was to adapt the Dini technology to mimic that of the Ahmad. The two cultures must surely have crossed paths at some point in their histories. It may even be that Keta was a direct descendant of Dini, else to explain the redemptive depth of our connection. But that's all pointless now. So we look at this cage. It looks similar to the cage we found in the temple on the first island. Maintenance in the steam vent caps completed. I'm extremely pleased with the continuous success of the system. Another example of the superiority of Dini technology. Ironic that Atris and Catherine's meddling continually provided me with such a convenient source of power. I am certain now that the fissure was an unexpected byproduct of the changes they wrote into this age as part of their machinations to trap me here, and that Atris never intended for the book to be lost among the stars in the process. Better that a linking book be destroyed than to risk it falling into unknown hands. Had they foreseen the creation of the fissure, they surely would have sought another solution, as the ensuing cataclysm may well have consumed the entire world had I not managed to intervene. Catherine would never have knowingly taken such a risk, and surely my son, given his own dearth of vertebrae, had only meant for Riven to become my prison and not my tomb. I'm discontinuing regular observations of the expanse beneath the fissure. I've tracked the stars and have proven that their paths are cyclical, but without proper instrumentation, there's nothing more I can learn. My theory, however, remains unaltered. The fabric of this age was breached in a way that permits matter to be hospitably exchanged between two discrete yet overlapping spaces. Yet, the attendant paradoxes defy the laws of conventional physics. The great column of wind that formed when the rift first appeared suggests a vacuum as one might expect in space, as my early experiments seem to confirm the presence of a breathable atmosphere. The Atris momentarily threw himself into the void is further evidence that it might possibly be safe to venture into. Without knowing its true nature, I simply cannot take that risk. It is also difficult to say what would happen were I to reopen the fissure now, but it is highly probable that the results would be disastrous. My hopes have been dashed again. The latest ink formulation has proven to be yet another in a long list of failures. Frustrating to expend so much effort constructing a linking book, only to end up destroying it when it refuses to function. Too often has this lab grown uncomfortably warm by the flames of these never-ending disappointments. Without my reference library back in Dini, a properly orthodox linking book may simply be beyond my means, but I simply cannot burn another book must be another way. Pens of fate! Late last night, while pondering these interminable setbacks, I went to light my pipe. The fire marble got away from me. However, the fire marble got away from me, however, and rolled across the gateway image of the book, of the open book before me. If the consequence of this had not been repeatable, I would not have believed my eyes. As the marble left a faint yet definite trail of increased clarity in its wake. The change did not last long, but it was unmistakable. If I could find a way to boost the energy output of my fire marbles, it might be possible to suppress the variance enough to facilitate a stable link. But how? A spatial anomaly occurred yesterday, about 5 spans above the north shore of Temple Island. A breach of stars seemingly identical to the ones beneath the fissure. It began as a small cloud, like a hole, which then commenced to expand in random surges. With some effort, I was finally able to contain it with runic plates similar to the ones I devised for the fissure. I believe it will hold, but the appearance of a new rift is troubling. And yet, it has also left me with the most uncanny feeling that something fundamental has shifted in my favor. I believe it may be time to give this inexplicable mystery a second look. I have erected a small dome, a pressurized airlock, mounted upon the contained breach. This has allowed me to safely conduct tentative forays into the expanse without subjecting Riven to further invasion and the destruction that would certainly attend it. It is bafflingly improbable space, is surprisingly more accommodating than my initial observations had led me to believe. Breathing is indeed possible within it, yet I cannot say that it is respiration as I am used to it. Rather, as nonsensical as this is going to sound, it feels at times as if the expanse was breathing me, and in the process, imbuing me with a sense of endless possibility. At last, the breakthrough I was hoping for. After my first full day of experiments in the expanse, I was astonished to discover that the fire marbles in my coat pocket had come to flourish. I don't know what that word is. Fluorescence? A quick strike test confirmed that their energy levels had increased significantly, and their charge has lasted longer than I would have thought possible. In a clear act of divine providence, the expanse has given me the final piece of the puzzle. An apparently boundless energy source that should be more than sufficient to rectify my linking books. But I must work quickly. 2 more breaches have occurred in the interim, each one more aggressive and difficult to contain than the last time. I fear time is running out. The breach is now number 5, a sure sign that I am on the right path. I have connected the domes on each of them via a nexus of pathways within the expanse, which will also serve as an inter-island shortcut as I continue my work on my enhanced fire marble complex. The loss of 2 more men yesterday has made it clear that the full spectrum of energy is too great for even my finest fire marbles to contain, so I've decided to break it up into 5 discrete frequency ranges, which will later be recombined for application to the book. I have installed 5 charging stations within the expanse, each one calibrated to imbue a blank fire marble a separate band of the total energy needed. A pneumatic tube system will then convey the charge marbles to the great gold dome on Riven for recombination. Freedom is nearly within my grasp. Alright, so we have a map down here, and we're gonna put that in the book. So give me a moment. There we go. It is now added to the General Riven notes. The problem of how to return to Riven has been settled. Reckon has proven his usefulness over the years, at times nearly rivaling my own engineering prowess. He and his team will have the honor of being the first to link to the New Age, bringing with them the necessary materials to build a vastly simplified version of the book apparatus, which I have personally designed. If they do not return within a reasonable amount of time, I will revise my design and send additional men until they get it right. Should they founder, however, I am prepared to sacrifice every last man on Riven to continue the effort. This cannot fail. At long last, a viable loop has been established. After an eternity of toil and sacrifice, and an unconscionable preemption of the ages I might have fathered, I have finally linked to a new age. And then he puts the number of the new age, which I believe is something like 52, but I don't know it right now. We'll put that in just a moment as well. So we're going to put that into the book. So there we go. It's now written in the book. It's a bleak and barren world, perfectly suited for my purposes. By closely comparing the real with the written, I believe I will soon be able to create a more appropriate age from which to relaunch my mission. For now, however, I will move my office and living quarters there, so that I may safely continue my endeavors without distraction. Though it is but a stepping stone, New Age is an utter triumph. I think that I have accomplished in a matter of years, under extremely adverse conditions, that it took the Dini ancestors centuries to achieve. I caught one of my assistants thumbing through this journal today. He will certainly never do it again, but I am glad I chose to write this in a language these people cannot decipher. Perhaps it's time I reviewed security measures with each guild master. No problems expected from the builders, maintainers, and surveyors, but the bookmakers and educators may need a bit of motivation. Raw reports of spirit sightings. It seems that under Catherine's leadership, the rebels, or Black Morty, as villagers stubbornly insist on referring to them, have attained a new level of sophistication in their terror tactics, renewing their campaign to intimidate the weak-minded into joining them by preying upon their cultural superstitions. I suppose I should be concerned by this, but it strikes me as almost laughable. And the rebels wish to dilute their ranks with dimwits. Who am I to stop them? Chemical analysis of one of the rebel knives has yielded curious results. The metal contains elements that are unlike anything I've encountered on the islands. It appears the rebels have access to a resource that I am unaware of, perhaps a mine or an uncharted island. Most of these knives have been found in the south side of the village, the same region that reports people mysteriously disappearing have emanated from. I think a closer inspection of this area is warranted. The fact that the rebels deliberately leave these distinctive knives as a sign of their presence is concerning. They're growing bolder, as if they no longer fear discovery of their hideouts. Recent measurements indicate that the movement of the islands has slowed dramatically. My previous estimates predicted a total collapse in approximately 3 months, but the new figures I am no longer certain. I have nearly finished writing the next age. I think it's the 44th age, if I'm looking at these numbers right. I have every confidence it will be a safe place to relocate to, but it would still be useful to know what has caused the sudden halt in Riven's breakup. Is it possible that the age is stable after all? If so, I must discover how it differs from the 43. I don't remember exactly what these numbers mean, but I'm pretty sure that's a 4, and so he'd be doing the next one in order. Although the number system gets really complicated past 10, so, or not past 10, past 20. Yeah, past 20 it gets really complicated. So, yeah, I can't read it properly. I've never been able to read it past 20. How it differs from the previous land, which has already shown troubling signs of decay, though further tests are needed. And yet, there's something almost about this that gives me pause. Could it be that someone is attempting to repair the damage of the fifth age at its source? Can I think that the hand of Atris is behind this somehow? I normally do one video per per island, but we're getting very close to an hour on this one. So I am going to stop this video and we will continue this island at a later time.